Hello, Marky Dragon, also known as Marcus Heikenberry in real life, and today we've got a special guest on the show. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, my name's Matthew, and I'm going to be talking about PayPal and virtual trades and chargebacks today. Okay,
yeah. So now you had mentioned to me that you were concerned about someone, was it charging back on you? Or?
Yeah, well, it's quite a consistent thing when it happens to be on virtual trades, especially if you're not a company in itself and it's between only two people.
So are you selling then, are you saying you're selling virtual items? Is that?
Yeah, I used to sell things like game cards and auth keys for things, and some RSGP in the past on sites like Scythe. But because there's no middleman, unlike player auctions, chargebacks are just far too easy to perform.
Mm-hmm. And so what's been your experience with that? You losing a lot of money?
I was at one point, yeah. Especially with account trades and things. It kind of made me quite annoyed that PayPal don't question any of these things. As long as something's sent through PayPal, it can be charged back.
Mm-hmm. And so, so what kind of questions on that do you have?
I was just wondering, like, what PayPal's physical limit for being able to charge back, the length of time, the amounts, and what their policies on virtual trade actually are.
Well, I guess let's start with their policy. Their policy is that there is no buyer or seller protection for sales of intangible goods, these virtual goods. And that is because you can't prove that it was delivered. Even if you were to video in the game or something like that, that you're, well, I'm handing currency over to this guy and such, then how do they, though, know that that other person you were talking to was the account owner? And so they won't accept anything like that. They only accept, you know, delivery methods like, you know, UPS, FedEx, and DHL, other stuff like that. So it's really both a buyer and seller beware. It goes both ways, actually. Their policy on how far a chargeback can happen, there is a couple of different things in there. There's a chargeback, which is credit card based, and then there's a dispute, which is that the money came from their PayPal account, most likely. And then there's also reversals from banks. And the chargebacks, when someone says, hey, I didn't make this charge on my credit card, I've seen chargebacks come in as much as 13 months after the fact. I know that's an incredibly long time. PayPal's policy, though, is about 60 days. And so I think they have some automated system that when somebody files something that it'll automatically dispute it, even if it's very, very old. I have anything over 60 days I've won, because just for the fact that they didn't file it in time with PayPal's policies. But PayPal loses the money, and if you get too many chargebacks, they'll start putting a reserve on your account or doing other things like that. Bank reversals. Now you're in the UK, is that correct?
Scotland, to be
Scotland.
Yeah.
Okay. And so whenever you make a purchase with online with like a bank, you guys use some key code list or something like that that's sent to you monthly. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And that makes it virtually impossible to, to have fraud. Unless your girlfriend was taking your money.
Yeah.
So but in the United States, it's different. In the United States, if someone hacks a PayPal account and then goes to send money with a bank transfer or whatever, it'll just happen. because it's already pre-set up, and there is no protections on U.S. bank accounts like that. So that's one place that PayPal kind of fails, and so that if the person disputes the transaction with their bank, those many times I've lost instantly. I mean, there's no questions asked. It's just that PayPal says the bank took the money back. We're taking the money back from you. No, especially if you have no proof of delivery. And then there's the dispute of didn't receive the goods. I paid with PayPal or whatnot. And when someone disputes saying that they didn't receive the item, your response should be, this is an intangible good. It was delivered electronically. There is no delivery proof. And PayPal will default with you to win that one. Those are the different types. Now, I assume that your question comes because you've encountered this?
Yeah, many times.
Yeah? How much money would you say you've lost?
And we're talking almost nearly $500.
Mm-hmm.
For somebody like me who's just, I don't run a business or a company of my own doing these things. It's normally just for a bit of cash or to sell things to some people that I'm doing a favor. And I think because if you are a company selling key codes, things like that, you're trusted, and a lot of the time you can recover your money. But for me, it's just far too difficult.
Well, and who is it that trusts you? Where is that trust coming from you're speaking of?
Well, I mean, most of the time on, like places like Player Auctions and Scythe for virtual trades, the only thing preventing people from charging back on PayPal things and scamming is the fact that they'll get banned from that certain site. Now, a lot of people have donations to the site and vouchers, things like that. Normally you can tell by the amount of vouchers of their donation to the site that they're not willing to risk losing all of that just to scam somebody maybe $20, $40.
Right. So, so you're talking more about that. You're talking about your trust for the people buying from you.
Yeah.
And so, I think that that plays a part on your end, most definitely. Because see, there is no after the fact for the most part of getting your money back. Typically, if you're selling intangible goods, you just consider that a loss automatically. And there are a few cases where you can win, but in most cases you can't. And the issue becomes, how do you make sure that the money that you just received comes from the actual person who is you're talking with, that's buying the product. And so like those reputation systems that you talk about is a very good indication. But you want to be able to sell to people who don't have a reputation as well, I would imagine. And so you have to do your due diligence to look the person up and maybe give them a call. One of the things that you can do is if someone sends you a payment, and then you look up their email address on places like Facebook.
Yeah.
And then send them a Facebook message and say, hey, I just want to confirm it's you. And they should be able to log into that and tell. And if it looks like it's a fake account, which I'm sure we've all seen fake accounts in Facebook, then that would be a huge red flag for you. So it's more about prevention and knowing what the policies are with PayPal. With the bank transfers now, do you sell to other people in the UK and everything?
Yeah. most of the time it's globally.
But when you're selling to somebody else who can use a secure payment method like a bank transfer, and if it doesn't cost you a whole lot to do that, then I would steer them that way instead of PayPal. As long as you have a good reputation so that they can trust you. So, does that answer your questions?
Yeah.
Bring up any more questions?
There was just I think PayPal's the only way that most people go for payments under $200. As I know things like wiring money and bank transfers, checks, all that thing are mostly for large payments. But the payments that I was receiving were $10, $20 for things like auth keys. And the complications really came for me when they used an auth key and it was done. And I appreciate the idea on the fact that you can confirm their names via like emails and such.
Now you can also call them. A lot of people, you can look them up. So just call them with Skype. It'll only cost you a few cents. And then sometimes you'll find when it looks suspicious, you'll get a hold of somebody and they'll be like, I have no clue what you're talking about. And then you got a scammer who's sending you money. So, yeah. Okay, well, thank you very much for the question. I appreciate you taking the time to call in and be on this episode. So, thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay,
take care. And for those of you who are still on the line here, I have a brand new exit that I'm going to play for you. It's kind of fun, and it's got some really good music in it. I'm looking forward to it, and so give me your feedback. What do you think of this new exit? I'm just trying this. It's kind of a variation on another style that I have, but let's just see how this feels. And I'm Marky Dragon. Take care.
You like that, don't you? Eyebrows are even black. Have my aunt put it on. Makeup. Yeah, it's not really dyed. The eyebrows aren't. Yeah, like these. I was listening to dubstep before a lot of you were wearing diapers, alright? You like that, don't you?
For those of you who are still here and watching, this is my friends at Monstercat. This is where the music comes from. There's a link in the description where you can find the album and check it out.